I can honestly say that these are my favorite kinds of videos. You're going to see a side of Trump that I think exemplifies his authenticity, his realness, his down to earthness, his character. JD Vance shares this stunning, I mean, stunning story about Trump being, characterizing something that he's never seen before. It left him cold, to use his words. I can't wait to share this with you. And I think it just says so much. I love it when it comes from somebody else and not just me, because people think that I'm biased. And look, I've made no bones about it. I love our president. He makes me feel more proud to be American than any other president in my lifetime. Are there things that he says sometimes that make you kind of go, oh, maybe you could have held off on that? Yeah, maybe. But you know what? Here's the crazy thing. I love that about him more than anything else, because it just proves his authenticity. It proves he's a real human being and he cares. These fake hypocrite, academic, smug slimeballs, the Democrats, they think all the same crap, but they just come across like, oh, no, we're sophisticated and we're smart. And no, we're not supposed to act like that. Not very presidential. Bunch of them. I know them. They're garbage. They're insidious ghouls with corrupt, rotted souls. Anyway, this video is going to put a huge barrel of sun all over your chest. You're going to love it. Also, there's some controversy happening in certain, conservative circles or whatever. You see it all over online. People are upset at what Trump had to say about Rob Reiner, who just recently passed with his wife. He didn't pass. I mean, he was brutally stabbed to death in his LA home in Brentwood. And the number one suspect is his son, Nick Reiner, just in case you didn't miss this. Well, Trump posted a post about Rob, about giving condolences, and a lot of people are judging him and saying he should delete it. So I'll share with you what that was. And then finally, holy macadamian nut, Trump just confirmed the Democrats' worst nightmare when it comes to the 2026 midterms. I can't wait to share that with you. Plus, we got Tom Homan. Oh, this is a jam-packed video, so grab your favorite drink, your favorite snack, sit back, relax. Your boy Nez is going to take care of everything. Here's JD Vance. Check out this first video of JD Vance. My goosebumps are having goosebumps right now. Watch.
That meeting was breaking up, and I looked at my phone as I always do between meetings, and all my signal chats and my text groups were lighting up with people that I was in a text chat with Charlie saying, Charlie, give us an update. What's going on, man? And that was kind of when I realized something was not right. And then, of course, I got the brief from my staff. I looked at social media. I realized what had happened. And I'll never forget the first 20 minutes or so. We were getting updates from Charlie's team. We actually thought things were going to go okay, or at least we had a glimmer of hope. He got to the hospital. He had a heartbeat. He was still alive. And of course, he didn't make it. And that was one of the toughest moments of my life. And I remember walking to the Oval Office and telling the president. And of course, the president is a person who always has something to say. He has that ability. And that was one of the few times where the president, I've ever seen him, the only time I would say, where I've seen the president stunned. And he just sat back in his chair and he was like, man, he fought very hard for us, didn't he? And he did. And that's one of the things that I want to take into 2026 is this sense of how many people have sacrificed for me, have sacrificed for the President of the United States, have sacrificed for all of us to be able to do the job that we do.
I still get haunted, by the way. I still have nightmares about Charlie. I'll never, ever forget. It is my job. I feel it is my moral imperative to remind myself, remind my purpose, my mission, remind all of us Americans that Charlie Kirk, he cannot die in vain. There's no way a man of that breadth and depth and patriotic fervor can die in vain. We must carry the mantle on doing everything possible. And I just love that aspect. I love the fact that Trump shared a raw, real emotion like that, because he did. He did do a lot. Charlie Kirk, you could almost say, with all intents and purposes, there is a very strong chance, above 50%, I would say, President Trump does not get elected without Charlie Kirk. He won more of the young vote than I think any Republican in the last 100 years. We're talking 18 to 35 or 18 to 25-year-olds. And there's no way all the stats and analytics. I mean, Charlie Kirk's content didn't just get millions of views. You know, the woke media apparatus gets millions of views. Charlie Kirk got billions with a B. Billions, and we're talking like tens of billions, not just a few billion, tens of billions of views. And he was one of the hardest working individuals I've ever seen. So that story just really, really hits home, and it adds another layer and nuance and depth to our president. 98%, 98%, my fellow Americans, of the coverage that President Trump gets in the corporate press, ABC, CBS, CNN, et cetera, and this is a guy who's literally fixing America. And I'm going to prove it. Wait till you see what Tom Homan says. Oh, it's going to bring you to your knees. Wait till you see what the borders are, who I think needs a bronze statue, along with Trump. I think Trump deserves Mount Rushmore. If you think Trump deserves Mount Rushmore, let me know in the comments down below. Just put yes, Mount Rushmore in the comments right now. Okay, the next story. So you guys heard about Rob Reiner, right? Well, just in case you didn't hear about Reiner, so his wife and himself were found in their Brentwood home late last evening. This was breaking. I mean, it's all over the internet. It's all over the news cycle that they passed away. And the way that they passed away was a brutal stabbing. So another stabbing in Brentwood. The last stabbing that was that atrocious happened in 1994. I don't have to remind you. Most of you guys were alive during then. You're as old as me. O.J. Simpson. And the number one suspect is their son, Nick Reiner, who has mental health problems, was suffering from homelessness. God knows why, because his dad is a multi-millionaire, director, actor, what have you, Hollywood. I don't know if you could call him a Hollywood icon. I guess some people would. But he was no shadow of a doubt. He was a deranged lunatic who attacked Trump every single day. And so here's the post that's gotten all this controversy. So Trump says a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. So you've got people like Piers Morgan, who I've never liked, saying, oh, you should delete that. That's an atrocious thing to say about a man who has just passed away like this in this horrible manner. And all these pseudo-fake, right-wing, whatever, Republican, MAGA, conservative influences. You know, I don't get involved in any of that garbage. I love America. I never feel like somebody who's beholden to a club or group or faction or whatever. But people say, Nez, are you far right? I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I've said this a million times. I'm all about America. I love Trump. I support Trump because he represents America. He represents the people. He fights every single day for the best country ever known to man, America. And so if I had to define myself, I'd say I'm a constitutional centrist. But this really pisses me off. Because some of these accounts, okay, some of these so-called influencers have millions and millions of followers. And they're saying, this is a huge L for Trump. This is a huge... What did he say that was so wrong? He still offered his condolences. This is the guy who literally for the past 10 years has been he's been spreading insidious propaganda, hate, lies, trying to bankrupt Trump, his entire family, trying to imprison him, yelling, foaming at the mouth how much he hates Trump. It's like De Niro on steroids. And this is the same guy who posted stuff like this every day. This is just one, by the way. This is just one post out of millions that are, if not 10 times worse, exactly like this. Here's just an example. Until Trump goes to prison, I will no longer be posting on Twitter, which, by the way, he reneged on that. I've had it with the insults and put downs. F all of you MAGA a-holes. I mean, that's like Every single day he was posting stuff like that. And this, no surprise, Trump colluded with Russia. We've always known his presidency was illegitimate. Now it has been proven. For the sake of our democracy, this man must be indicted and jailed. I mean, he did this with millions and millions of followers, with huge Hollywood influence. This is, again, on the daily basis. But wait, there's more. We all remember the late, great Rush Limbaugh. May he forever rest in peace. A day after Rush Limbaugh died, Hollywood filmmaker Rob Reiner attacked the late conservative radio host as a purveyor of disinformation, saying that Americans must protect democracy from others like him. He launched a social media attack on Limbaugh by calling him a liar, warning that other conservative media persons are trying to deny climate change. Quote, to protect our democracy, we must remain vigilant in calling out their big lies, starting with climate change, he wrote. Meanwhile, you've got Obama, his hero, who for the past 10 years, along with Reiner and the rest of the Holly weirdos and the cabal and Soros, etc., initiating a coup on a sitting president starting in 2016. As soon as he discovered that Hillary lost, as soon as Trump won in 2016, Obama architect. This all came out with Tulsi Gabbard. I know what you're thinking, Nez, I'm sick and tired. I want to rest. I'm sick and tired of talking about it. No, I know. But these are the facts. We knew it. We all knew it. We knew it was rigged. We knew these guys hate America. We knew what happened in Sydney, what happened in Europe, what happened in the UK, what's happened, in our country with all these terrorists. That we knew this was all architected. We knew the Somali fraud. We knew all that. I know. I want to see arrests too, but I'm just simply stating this as it relates to what Trump said about Rob Reiner. Maybe he did it worded the way that you wanted, and maybe it wasn't worded perfectly. He still offered his condolences. But for you to say for a second that that was wrong and that, Rob Reiner and his ilk wouldn't have danced on Trump's grave and yelled about it, especially all the stuff that they said about Charlie Kirk, you guys are out of your demented minds. And you call yourself supporters of America. You call yourself MAGA. You call yourselves conservatives. Saying crap like this is so narcissistic and self-absorbed that it makes me sick to my stomach. Never mind the fact that it's hypocritical. Here's what Trump said in today's press conference when asked about this post.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. It was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country. Yeah.
Again, not an untrue statement there at all. And he still offered his condolences. And by the way, there's now new reports per different variable news sources that are saying that the reason that Rob Reiner and his late wife were brutally stabbed by their son, it was related to a political argument. So Trump was right about that. God rest his soul. Even though he said all these horrible things, I don't wish that on anybody. And my thoughts are with his family and, all my condolences. I offer all of them. But this hypocrisy, especially by these so-called conservative influencers, save it. Save it. He's absolutely right. This was bad for our country. He spread lies, hate, the same lies and hate that's produced massive attacks on our law enforcement officers, on Tesla dealerships, on everyday American citizens, that has sowed division and hate. These are the insidious lies from the propagandist media that have caused such a division, almost an impenetrable, unhealable division. So he's absolutely right. That was terrible for the country, notwithstanding and not taking away from the brutality of what happened. Okay, sticking to this press conference that he just gave today. Wow, President Trump just confirmed the Democrats' worst. This is huge. I mean, this is monumental. His worst nightmare in the 2026 midterms. He's saying that he will put the name Trump back on the ballot to surge low propensity voters. Watch.
The whole election. And, it's interesting. When I'm not running, we don't do as well. Yeah. And I'm going to try and get that changed for the midterms. But we did have a big win in Tennessee, as you know. Matt Van Epps had a big win in Tennessee against a very strong candidate, attractive candidate, who a lot of people thought would do very well, and Matt won by a lot, and I won Tennessee by a real lot. You know, we had a great election. We won every single swing state. We won the popular vote. We won everything, and there's a thing that they have now, districts, which is a big deal. I think in a way it's the most important stat from the standpoint of, you know, looking at numbers accurately. So out of thousands of districts, I won 2,750 versus 525. Think of that, 2,750 versus 525. It was great. That's why the map, when you see a map of the election, it's all red, other than two little narrow lines on the other side. Please.
Sir, Jimmy Lyon.
That is absolutely huge announcement from Trump. Susie Wiles, his chief of staff, has confirmed that Trump is going to be focusing. You know, he did a whole world tour, brokering peace deal after peace deal, renegotiating trade deals, building new partnerships, collaborating with world leaders in ways that we've never seen before, ever. And now he is laser focused in his second year here as president of the United States on domestic issues. And Susie Wiles, as I said, his chief of staff, has confirmed he will be going across the country to rally for the 2026 midterms for red Republicans. And you best believe your boy Nez is going to cover a lot of those, because those rallies are literally like an injection of American pride into my veins. Nobody instills and inspires more pride in my heart of how proud I am to be an American, like listening to Trump. If you're with me on that, give me a yeah in the comments down below. And one guy who I think exemplifies all of this is Tom Homan, the border czar. Listen to this heartfelt speech. He calls President Trump the greatest president of his lifetime. And he says, yeah, I said it. And I want everybody to see it because I believe it. And then he continues with this remarkable, breathtaking announcement to the world.
You know, I just got home last night. I toured the border in California, Arizona, and Texas. I did it in four-wheel drive. I did it on the river. I did it from the air. Hundreds upon hundreds of miles of border. I didn't see one illegal alien. Not a single one. I've done this since 1984. I worked for 6 different presidents. No one's done more than President Trump. What he has done is gave us the most secure border in the history of this nation. Hard stop. I went hundreds of miles of border, didn't see one illegal alien. Incredible, considering the Biden administration, we had 10, 12,000 a day, most released in the United States. I'm proud to be with these patriots behind me. I'm already proud to be in the Oval Office of the President, but being with these heroes, I met some of these soldiers down on the border. And actually, a shout out to Fort Drum, New York. We got some 10th Mountain Division here, so at least Stefanik, Claudia Tennant, we all love Fort Drum and the 10th Mountain. So look, this is a game changer. I want to make something perfectly clear, because we get attacked all the time being inhumane. The Biden administration is much more humane. It's a bunch of crap. Because there's been studies done that 31% of women that make that journey through the cartels get sexually assaulted. They get raped. And not just the women, children too. I've done numerous investigations on that. Sex trafficking was historic highs with the open border. Fentanyl, historic highs that killed 250,000 Americans. No inspector terrorists that came across the border. Record, historic. What happened under the Biden administration was the most inhumane thing I've seen in my lifetime. Now that the border is 96% decline, 96% less people are coming, how many women aren't being raped? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this country every day? How many known suspected terrorists aren't just walking across that border? President Trump and this administration is saving thousands of lives every month. Hard stop. That's just a stone cold fact. I'm just proud to be a part of this. I work with Steve Miller every day. Steve Miller is one of the most brilliant people I've met in my entire life. President Trump brought together one hell of a team here, and the success proved. We all working together, one team, one fight. We're not done yet. We're going to keep going. And I guarantee you, we're going to continue saving thousands and thousands of lives. Secure border means strong national security. Secure border saves lives.
Oh, good. Oh, God, I love it. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Mom, if you're watching, she's like, God, you're going to have a hernia. I know. I just love that. I just love that. I just love that passion. I love that truth. It is honor. It is code. It is America. It is forefather. It is red, white, and blue. It is everything I love. I just love Tom Homan. This man deserves to be honored. He deserves to have, I mean, these guys need like trading cards. They're legends. They're going to look at this moment in time, ladies and gentlemen, history. Our great, 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 great grandchildren are going to look back and be like, man, that must have been some time to be alive, because this is the second American Revolution. And the tyranny that we're fighting is from perpetrators on our own soil. The Constitution states very clearly, you take an oath to fight enemy combatants, both foreign and domestic. Biden, Obama, the Democrats, shame on you. Shame on you. Thank God for President Trump. Thank God for Tom Homan and this America First administration. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments down below. Please help me make this video go viral. Share it. Tap the thumbs up. That's all I ask. Watch all the videos till the end. That's it. That's all you got to do. Our mission is to make common sense go viral. You can help. Even if you're watching on your TV, tap the thumbs up. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you miss them. Tap my face right here after all that to subscribe and follow. It's free, for crying out loud. And turn on the bell so you don't miss anything. And as always, may God bless you and God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.